Time to get inspired and improve your yoga knowledge in English. You're listening to Your Yoga in English, a podcast for yogis and yoga teachers that speak English as their second or third language and want to practice or teach yoga worldwide. I'm Annie, the founder of Enga Unite, and here to guide you on the way to become the confident and knowledgeable English-speaking yogi you want to be. So, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to today's chat. We're live on Facebook, but I'm not going to be there very long. So if you would like to join us on Instagram for a live chat, just join us there. And I'm just going to give you a quick introduction here. For the people that can't make it live, you can always look or watch it later on. So today, well, you guys know already, this month we're speaking about cleaning and cleansing. Now, when we speak about cleaning, it's more of a superficial way or literal way to clean the body with water and soap. When we speak about cleansing, it's more of a holistic experience in which we don't only clean the body, but also the mind, the thoughts, emotions, and even relationships. In yoga, when we do this, we speak about Ayurveda. And some of you already know that Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga and has a lot to do with your diet, but also with your routine, and is very personal, so very different from the medicine we know in Western society. And we're going to speak to Gillian. And yay!
Hey.
You're there, amazing.
I'm here. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm great. It's nice to see your face live.
Yes, same. It's really nice. Well, we had a little bit of contact on email already, but It's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for asking me to do this. I'm very happy.
Yes, me too. I'm really excited. I already introduced the theme a little bit and said we're going to speak about Ayurveda. But first, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Gillian Grant, also known as the Grateful Yogi. I also manage the account for Transformational Yoga. That's my yoga school that I created here in Paris, France. And we started off with one teacher training per year. And now we're up to 3 200-hour trainings, as well as a 300-hour advanced teacher training that starts in May. And what else do we have going on? We've got Yin and Nidra and Ayurveda courses and just all kinds of things going on. So basically, I'm a yoga teacher, but I've also trained in Ayurvedic medicine and Ayurvedic therapy. I split my time between France, the US, and India when things are normal, in normal times. Yeah. And one of the things that I really love about Ayurveda and yoga is that it's always kind of continuing education. There's always more to learn and more to know. So my love is constantly learning something new and trying to apply it, even if it's something from an ancient text, trying to apply it to modern times.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, that's really nice. I really like that as well. And you said you're in Paris, but you're originally from America. Now,
from the US.
For the interviews here, we very often interview people that also have experience learning other languages. What is your experience with that?
Well, I've been in France for 15 years, and it has been a struggle for me to learn French. My son was born in France, and he's bilingual. And one of the reasons why my French is so bad is because I insisted on speaking English with him at home from the time he was very small and when he started speaking. So now that I am out about in the world a little bit more, because he's a teenager now, and most of my work is with people from many different nationalities, it gives me an opportunity to practice learning French a little bit better than I should have years ago.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
always a time, right? It's never too
Yes,
late. And I
sure.
think it's really good that you insisted on speaking English with your son, because it's really, really important. Well, important, I wouldn't say, but it's nice for kids as well to speak different
Yeah.
languages. So
I think he has a big
amazing.
advantage for sure. All of these
Exactly.
little synopsis that are firing from the time they're small when they have a second language. So I think that's
Exactly. Exactly. Amazing. So let's just dive in straight away. What is
okay.
Ayurveda? Because there's lots of stories going on, there's different ideas, perspectives. What is Ayurveda?
So I think when most people hear the word Ayurveda nowadays, they think mostly of massage and
Ah,
maybe some herbs as well. Like there's a very basic understanding of what Ayurveda is. Um,
mhm,
Traditionally, Ayurveda, so the word Ayurveda comes from Sanskrit, and when it's broken into two parts, it means the study of life. So Ayur
mhm,
meaning life and Veda meaning the study of. Anytime we see Veda in Sanskrit text, it means to have knowledge or to be studying. So
mhm,
Ayurveda is kind of like sort of like biology, what we would call biology in English, and biology is also very much the study of life. Um,
mhm,
but Ayurveda is more related to individual health and how we can benefit once
mhm,
we know our constitution.
mhm.
Yeah.
And what is this constitution?
Okay. So constitutions, in Ayurveda, we believe there are three different types of person. There's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And usually we're kind of a combination of the three types.
Mhm,
It's kind of rare to have a person that's completely one constitution. And you
mhm,
also hear the word dosha. So dosha means pretty much the same thing. This is our constitution.
mhm.
Um, there are people that have all three as their natural constitution, and they're also quite rare, but very, very lucky to have an equal balance of the three doshas.
Mhm,
Most people are primarily two that are more dominant, and those two kind of fight with each other
mhm,
to see who will be more dominant. So we're
mhm,
born with our dosha or doshas, and we're always trying to get back to that original status,
mhm.
homeostasis.
Exactly, exactly. It's a topic that really, really, really fascinates me. And I
Mm,
think when I did my first yoga teacher training, it was just a lot of information. There's a lot to take in, and it can be a little
yeah,
bit confusing. So could you
yeah.
tell us a little bit about these doshas? How do they work? What do they decide in the body?
Okay, so the dosha not only decides physically what a body might look like, what a person might look like, it also
Mhm,
can affect personality characteristics related to emotional balance, emotional well being, also. So,
mhm,
when we talk about balancing the dosha, we have to think it's not just about the body. This is why it's the sister science of yoga. It's really working with the body, the mind, and the spirit. So there is a little bit of religious or spirituality attached to Ayurveda also.
mhm. I see, I see. And when you study these things, what do you consider to be the three key elements that we should know, or maybe
Mm,
first study?
okay, that's a great question. So the body and mind are always attached. We can't
Mm-hmm.
separate them. To balance one, we have to balance the other, and vice versa. So that would be number one. You have to balance the body and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
The mind can help to heal the body. So when we think about spirituality and mental well-being, positive thoughts, positive affirmations, and doing things like relaxation and breathing exercises that we practice in yoga, these
Mm-hmm.
can all help to balance not just the mental state, but also the physical state. And for optimal health, Ayurveda believes that we have to have both of these aspects working together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that would be number one rule. Body and mind are always attached to each other. We can't have well-being of one without having well-being of the other. Yeah.
Exactly. And you said that very often, oh, very often actually, we always have to find like the things that work for our constitution. How
Mm.
do you know what to do to find your type of balance or your type of practices?
Okay, so it's probably best. There are lots of quizzes that we can take online. I'm sure you've seen many
Mhm.
different quizzes to determine dosha, to determine constitution. It's probably best to also have the aid of an Ayurvedic therapist who maybe can give more of um, a neutral diagnosis. Sometimes when we're looking just
Mhm.
at ourselves, it's hard to judge. We're judging ourselves either harshly or we're more biased. So it's always good to have a second opinion when trying to determine dosha
Mhm.
before we go on any path of treatment, because we may
Mhm.
actually be giving ourselves the wrong herbs and the wrong exercises. So I would say get a second opinion about your constitution, about your dosha. If there's not an Ayurvedic therapist around, maybe sit down with a friend or family member and have them help you with the quiz to have another
Mhm.
honest opinion. Yeah, so, and then once the constitution dosha is determined, then we can start to think about, okay, what are some changes that I can make in my lifestyle to
Mhm.
try and get back to my more natural homeostasis, my natural state.
Exactly. And to give people an idea, like what kind of things do you look at when you do these assessments?
Okay, so it could be things related to actual physical appearance,
Mhm.
skin tone, hair color, eye color. Of course, those things can kind of be altered. So we have to think more about how the person was as a small child rather than
Mhm.
all the things that they've changed about themselves throughout their adulthood. But you can get a pretty good general idea also. Bone structure, height,
Mhm.
weight fluctuation, if people are prone to gaining or losing weight very easily. This is another good indicator of the dosha. And then
Mhm.
emotional states, what is your natural emotional state when dealing with things like stress? Do you get
Mhm.
anxious or do you get angry, or are you kind of a go with the flow kind of person? So once we understand a little more about not just the physical body, but also the personality, then it helps to determine the dosha.
Exactly. And with all of these things, what would be the ultimate goal? Why would we want to know all this information and what can we achieve with it?
The ultimate goal being vitality and longevity, trying to live
Mhm.
our best life physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, if we
Mhm.
can get back to our natural state. And when I say natural state, it's not even at birth, it's at the time of conception. Things are
Mhm.
determined at the time of conception. So if we can get back to that natural state, then we should be able to have a much longer and healthier life.
Exactly. All right. Now we know a little bit about Ayurveda. We kind of have an idea of what it is. What
Mhm.
is an Ayurvedic cleanse?
Yeah. Okay. So I have to say some of the cleansing techniques in Ayurveda can be a little intrusive,
Mhm.
and a little scary, and some may need to be practiced only under the guidance of a
Mhm.
clinician in a clinical setting. So they can involve induced vomiting, induced
Mhm.
diarrhea, enemas. There are lighter things like massage and oils that are applied to the
Mhm.
body, where I think everyone is pretty much familiar when they think of Ayurveda. The oil on the head and head massages, which is really nice.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, some things like the oil and the massage could be done outside of a clinic, but
Mhm.
there are some very intrusive practices to cleaning out the body from the inside out, literally.
Mhm.
These things really need to be under the guidance of someone
Uh-huh.
in a clinical setting to make sure that everything is up to par and healthy.
Exactly, exactly. Are there, if maybe people want to try out things at home, are there things they could do, or is it really not recommended?
There are some things that everyone can do. There are herbs that are safe for everyone and all
Mhm.
doshas. There's also like ginger. Ginger is a great way to boost digestion and can be used for all constitutions, all doshas. So something
Mhm.
like ginger tea, where you actually grate the root into water and let it boil down until it's
Mhm.
more concentrated.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be an example of something that everyone could do to boost digestive fire and increase immunity and is really healthy for everyone.
Exactly.
Mm.
And if you go to a clinic or if you see a specialist, would you call them a specialist or a
Yeah,
healer more?
sure. Well, there are
Mhm.
in India, they're Ayurvedic doctors. They
Yeah.
actually spend, 7 or 8 years training to become doctors. So they
Mhm.
really are medical physicians specializing in Ayurveda. In Europe,
Mhm.
we have more Ayurvedic therapists who have trained underneath clinicians, underneath doctors in India, and
Mhm.
have learned to specialize in Ayurveda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you go to see them, or
Mhm.
if you find someone that can do help you with these practices, the cleanses, are they then also designed around your dosha constitution, or how does that work?
So once the dosha is determined, which is what an Ayurvedic specialist, a therapist, or a clinician can do, then a whole pathway of healing can begin. So it
Mhm.
starts with usually some sort of detox. If you're staying in a center for panchakarma to go through the actual process of full body cleansing, so once
Mhm.
the dosha is determined, then the whole series of therapy can be determined as well.
Mhm. I
If
see.
you're visiting an Ayurvedic therapist, just kind of in a one-time visit or two-time visit, or if it's something more regular, but you're not doing the full intensive panchakarma, they can make
Mhm.
suggestions about what you should have in your diet, what you should be avoiding, different kinds of exercises you should be doing, and
Mhm.
that will usually help to start the process of healing.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, it really, really fascinates me. It's always been really interesting.
Yeah.
um, Now that we are, maybe we're getting out of lockdown a little bit, but everyone is still at home a lot. Is this something you can do online with a specialist or a healer?
I'm sure there are therapists that are doing assessments and evaluations online. I think
Mhm.
everyone has kind of adapted over the past year and a half to try and continue to help people, even if it's
Mhm.
in the virtual realm. So yeah, I'm almost certain that most Ayurvedic practitioners are still continuing to do
Mhm.
assessments.
Mhm. Because this is something that you do as well, right?
I do, yeah. Normally in person. I haven't done any
Mhm.
virtually, um, simply for the reason that I've been working on other things. If I did
Mhm.
have a student or a client that came to me and asked me, then yeah, I would feel
Mhm.
comfortable doing that virtually.
That's amazing. Really, really
Mhm.
amazing. And again, really fascinating. Is there
Mm.
anything that you would like to add to this? Something that we should know?
I think just knowing that if you feel imbalanced in some way, and
Mhm.
I think we've all kind of had the experience of feeling a little imbalanced in the past year, when you
Mhm.
start to have these signals in your body and in your mind, things like depression and anxiety, these are signals that something is imbalanced. And so I would
Mhm.
say uh, be very mindful of any changes, emotionally or physically. Don't
Mhm.
wait for things to exasperate to the point of disease. Really be very in tune with yourself. And when you start to notice these changes, know that it is an imbalance and you can get back to that homeostasis where you feel more like yourself, your natural state.
Exactly. Like from my understanding, what I've been told before is that with Ayurveda, you're really preventing yourself from the disease process
Yes,
or
yeah,
disease in general. Whereas in
absolutely.
Western medicine, we wait until it's done or too late and
Yeah.
we need to do all these.
You're treating, yeah, in Western medicine, we treat the symptoms after the disease has already occurred.
Exactly.
Ayurveda is definitely about trying to prevent things before they happen.
Yes.
So, any Ayurvedic doctor will tell you we're maybe not curing cancer with Ayurveda, but what we're
Mhm.
trying to do is to prevent things like cancer from happening. So,
Mhm.
ideally, when we start to feel a little imbalanced, we pay very close attention and start to make changes so that we can get back to our balanced state and prevent illness and disease.
Mhm. Exactly. And say that there's anyone here that would like to find out more about this. What are some trustworthy resources we can refer to?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I feel like
I know.
I would hate to give a shout out to just one. No, there's a great doctor working out of Arizona. He's originally from India, Vasant Lad, Dr. Lad, and he has written many, many, many different books about Ayurveda. He wrote a trilogy of books, one on kind of like the basic understanding of Ayurveda. The second is more on diagnosis, and then the third is about treatments. So it really is for people that are very interested, not just in helping themselves, but maybe helping other people around them. So I
Mhm.
would suggest anything by Dr. Latt as a very good foundation for understanding yeah, the basics of Ayurveda and then all the way up to diagnosing and treatment.
Exactly. Cool. We're going to check those out. I've
Okay,
written a very general, informative blog just to give people an idea of it. You feel free and welcome to read that too. Are there any
great.
things that you have coming up or any events, maybe even
Oh,
related
God.
to Ayurveda that people can go to?
Well, I always have something coming up.
You said you're
um,
very busy.
yeah, we do have a 200-hour teacher training in Paris that's starting in April, the second weekend of April.
Mhm.
We include a very introduction workshop to Ayurveda so that our yoga teachers that we're training have a basic understanding of
Mhm.
why Ayurveda and yoga are sister medicines. So we've got that going on. The 300-hour training that begins in May is the advanced teacher training, and will actually focus on diagnostics in
Mhm.
Ayurveda. So people can start to learn about how we determine when illness is occurring and how we can try to prevent it. Yeah.
Really
So
nice.
those are the two big
Really
ones
nice.
coming.
Uh-huh. And where can we find them if we want to have some more information?
Okay, so either on the Transformational Yoga Instagram page,
Mhm.
we're on Facebook as well under Transformational Yoga, and we have a website. In
Mhm.
googling Transformational Yoga Paris, and it should pop up. We're usually the first to pop up. So
Exactly. We will link to it in the descriptions here
great.
as well so people can find it
That's awesome.
easily.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for joining us today. It's been
Yeah,
really
thank you.
inspiring.
Oh, thank you. It's really lovely to see you today.
Yes, same, same, same. Everyone, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to answer them or help you further. And don't forget to check out Transformational Yoga and the website for any more information and trainings coming up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you later. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
great. Thank you, Annie. Bye bye.
Goodbye. You listen to Your Yoga in English, brought to you by Enga Unite, a unique online learning platform for non-native English-speaking yogis and yoga teachers. If you feel inspired and liked what you learned today, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us at Enga Unite and become a member of our online community, Your Yoga in English, on Facebook. Practice, rest, repeat, and all will come.